Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Dimaga and Failo here on Steps of War. Dimaga spawned as the red Zerg player on the north side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Failo spawning on the south side of the map as the light blue, or I guess teal Terran player. So teal Terran versus red Zerg here on Steps of War. Steps of War, one of those maps that only have two starting locations, so you automatically know where your opponent is at the start of the game. On top of that, the walking distances between these two maps are fairly close, so I am curious to see if Failo, or sorry, excuse me, if Dimaga will be trying to go for an early hatchery, or if he will even try to go for a 6 pool. Both of them are pretty strong options, and now we see Failo getting the standard supply depot on the front door. Dimaga obviously not going for any 6 pool play. However, he may be trying to go for an early hatchery as well, just because of the changes in the most recent patch. Failo will be building a barracks after the supply depot here, and then perhaps trying to finish the wall off with an add-on here. So both sides will be getting a little bit stronger. Both sides, excuse me. Sorry, the barracks now being placed down here in order to establish a front door. And now as Dimaga continues to get more and more units, will he place down a spawning pool or will he go for an early hatchery? Not quite sure yet. It looks as though he's going for a 16 hatchery, just because he's continuing to train up more and more drones at this time. So yeah, going most likely for that 16 hatchery, already sending out this drone. Drone should get down to that low ground with 300 minerals and grow up to be a hatchery with real no issues. So there we go, Dimaga opening up with that standard 16 hatchery. Most likely will follow it up with a 14 spawning pool. Or getting to a 14 spawning pool in just a moment as well, and we'll be able to get the proper defenses set up. So there we go, in comes that spawning pool, and now finally training up some more drones as well. Back over here we do see one Marine now being trained by Failo. So Failo with that one Marine will be able to hold off this one drone as it tries to come up this ramp. The drone, however, even though it is scouting a little bit later than normal, Dimaga pretty much knows that there's not much that Failo can really do except for that standard opening build, and now already comes into the base and now is growing up to be an extractor, so will be denying gas. So as soon as he came into this base and saw that there was an SCV on gas, knew that Failo was trying to go for a build that does require gas as opposed to just all Marines, and deciding to build an extractor here. So most likely this extractor will grow up and it will complete. So Dimaga deciding to not cancel the extractor, just letting those Marines just shoot it down now, and then we'll be able to transfer over an SCV and continue to build in just a moment. More Marines now still being trained, as now we have barracks being built along the side here. Very, very nicely done. This is a really, really large shift in tactics indeed, as he pulled off all of the SCVs. So most likely, Dimaga is thinking that his opponent is trying to go for a standard build, perhaps trying to get a factory right now. But instead of going for a factory, he is just going to mass up a lot of Marines. However, he is not getting a tech lab, which is a little bit confusing. If he goes for one tech lab, he will be able to research stim pack or combat shields. One of those two. He does have enough minerals, enough gas to not try to get any additional units on the refinery. And now you can also see he is nearly saturated on this mineral patch already, or partial saturation, and 2 per mineral patch. 3 is best, but 2 is a lot per mineral patch here, as now more and more SCVs being trained over. You can see, taking a look at the production tab, we are now getting a lot of roaches. However, a lot of Marines now being played. So there are currently 4 Marines here, and all of these Marines over here are just gathering outside of sight range, trying to make sure that none of these overlords are able to come into position. Taking a look at the army size, the army of Failo is currently seen at 550 minerals compared to just 200, and that is just composed of what, 2 roaches and perhaps 2 Zerglings out across the map. We do see 1 Zergling down here acting as a front door scout, making sure that if there is a 1,000,000-man march coming out, he will be able to handle it. And now currently just training up 4 Marines every 25 game seconds. 1 Zergling was trying to run up that ramp, however quickly saw that there was a choke there and unable to do anything. And now Failo sitting at 40 over 43, needs to get more supply depots, needs to train up perhaps even more SCVs. No, not even bothering with any SCVs anymore, just trying to dump out as many Marines as possible. So you can see 15 Marines here in addition to the 4 Marines here. So as this initial group of Marines move out, it should be able to take down this one Zergling, and now moves out with a swarm of roaches. So this is going to be a 6 roach push. So as these roaches try to walk up this ramp, we already do see a group of SCVs, and this is going to be an all-in tactic. 16 SCVs. You can see that these groups of Marines now pushing out, and now these SCVs will be making their way out as well, and we now see a lot of roaches. So the army on both sides, a group of Marines quickly coming out, and Dimaga now getting caught a little bit off guard, most likely, as those SCVs are attacking. Marines trying to pull back here. Some of those Marines continue to join in on this fight. As these Zerglings now moving out, those Marines will be able to get off a couple quick shots on those roaches, and more of those roaches are taking damage. Roaches have the same movement speed as Marines, so that one roach will be able to return home and try to get back onto that creep. More and more Zerglings coming in, and now in comes this group of SCVs once again. SCVs trying to draw in as much aggro as possible. Marines pulling back, taking a lot of that damage as well. However, this group of mass Marines doing a great job and cleaning up the rest of these queens, and now Dimaga looks to be in trouble as he does not have that strong of an army. Now trying to build a Baneling nest and needs to get those Banelings in a hurry. Going after Overlords is probably a mistake here, as those Banelings are able to morph into units without having to get any Overlords. However, Roach is now coming into position. Roach is continuing to fire. Baneling nest has popped up. However, those roaches are trying to get some damage onto those SCVs. Roaches are faster in this particular fight because it is on creep. However, these Marines are now just able to continue to come over here and take down more and more of these roaches. And now I believe Failo just doing a great job completely hiding his tactic, and now all of these broodlings will get taken down without any banelings able to be hatched. I believe that is going to be a good game. And wow, Dimaga forced to say GG here, completely getting caught off guard. I love this change in tactics by Failo. Failo showing a lot of ingenuity in playing a mind game here by showing that he did have a refinery here, and then getting that extractor. He realized that most likely Dimaga thought he was going to be going for going into tech. However, because he transferred those 3 additional SCVs off the refinery and then onto the mineral patch, and then continued to build more barracks, he was able to macro up a very, very large army very easily. On top of that, he's also had minimal SCVs in the back, enough to continue to train up more and more Marines and join in on that fight. Brought over 16 SCVs, and those SCVs did their job beautifully, taking a large amount of damage, even though that the SCVs do no longer have 60 hit points, only 45. They did a great job of just trying to get in the way of those Zerglings and also take damage from those queens. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay here on Scraps, or not on Scrap Station, here on Steps of War between Failo and Dimaga.